Welcome to this webinar. My name is Stephanie, and today's topic is about implementing strategies for community participation and inclusion. We will now focus on implementing strategies according to the individualised plan. You'll use your knowledge in identifying support services to meet your clients' needs. You need to learn these things to ensure that your clients get the support they need to thrive in their social and work networks. The individualised plan should detail what services will be provided to address the interests, needs, abilities, and preferences of persons with a disability. How each service will meet the interests, needs, abilities, and preferences of a person with a disability. Who will provide the services and assist the person with disability with their community participation, programs, and activities. Each detail in the individualised plan must be agreed upon by the following stakeholders: the person with disability, family of the person with disability, the carer of the person with disability, others identified by the person with disability, such as external stakeholders, such as allied health, guardians, public or financial, or person nominated. As a disability support, part of your job is to implement strategies based on your client's individualised needs. Your client may already have strategies in place to support their community participation and inclusion. As such, you must execute these strategies in collaboration with your clients and other stakeholders. Failure to do so can lead to your clients having unmet needs, which can lower the quality of lives and increase their dependence on others. In this session, you will learn how to assist a person with disability to identify and access community options based on their individualised plan, support the person with disability in establishing connections through shared interests, support the work participation of the person with disability, and assist employer for inclusion. Support the use of assistive technologies of the person with disability. Seek feedback from the person with disability and others on meeting the person's needs and preferences. Ensure strategies are regularly reviewed with the person with disability and supervisor. Monitor the level of engagement in community and social networks of the person with disability. Assist the persons with disability to identify and access community options based on their individualised plan. As a disability support worker, you must truly put the person with a disability at the centre of all decisions. So the person with disability is both a recipient and source for all strategies implemented within the individualised plan. There is a tendency that support workers do not consider the options and opinions of persons with disability. However, this should not be the case. Persons with disability are more capable of determining what community options they would like to take due to the following reasons. They know and understand their own experience better than anyone. They may have feelings or emotions that others may not understand. They may have desires or preferences that might make sense to others. They can speak and thus provide more detailed or specific information on what they need help with. Involving your clients in their individualised plan provides benefits, such as it frames clients as capable of making operational decisions rather than seeking help. It increases clients' understanding of their strengths and limitations. It encourages clients to take part in activities, routines, and programs they choose. To work with your clients to identify and access community options, you must let clients choose how their needs should be addressed or what options will meet their needs and preferences. Inform clients of risky programs and activities. Encourage clients to be vocal and bring up questions or concerns they might have. Provide necessary assistance to clients according to their disability. Identify community options that will meet the needs and preferences identified in the plan. When working with clients to identify community options that will meet needs and preferences, consider strategies such as considering the relationship of the client with those involved in the individualised plan, encouraging communication between you, the client, and other stakeholders, acknowledging that the client's family and carer and other stakeholders play a vital role in supporting them, acknowledging the different views of the client and other stakeholders. Access community options that will meet the needs and preferences identified in their individualised plan. There are services your organisation may provide clients to meet their community participation needs. However, there are times when the support the client needs is beyond your capabilities. When this happens, consider seeking services from other community participation agencies to meet these needs. You may do so by making referrals. A referral is a process of connecting to the community participation services outside of your area of expertise. This means asking other agencies to handle and meet the client's needs and preferences based on their individualized plans. Referrals can be a warm referral, which is a support worker discusses how other agencies can provide for the client's needs to gain their consent, or a cold referral. This is a support worker provides only the contact details and basic information of other agencies. The client can then contact them by themselves. You can refer to the following procedures when referring clients to other agencies to meet their needs and preferences. Identify what support the client needs, develop a list of available agencies, present the list of available agencies to the client. Once the client agrees to an agency, contact the agency on their behalf with a warm referral. Define the role of the agency and record and report the referrals. Support the person with a disability and establishing connections. Shared interests means that a person's interests are similar to others. They can establish connections through shared interests by engaging with others in various social networks. In these social networks, the person can join groups that share their interests. A person's interests may fall under supporting groups, cultural groups, and specific interest groups. As a support worker, you should support your clients as they access community inclusion opportunities. Failure to support and guide clients in accessing opportunities may result in difficulty for the client to socialise with others due to their impairments, too many options that the client can no longer decide what is appropriate for them, missed opportunities for the clients to socialise with others, the client not being able to connect with others in social networks. To support clients to access opportunities to establish connections through shared interests, consider the strategies of consulting with the client to determine current interests, finding appropriate social networks for the client, conducting further studies on the social networks, and seeking the client's feedback. Support the work participation of the person with a disability and assist employer for inclusion. The workplace is one of the most common and important settings for a person to build a community or social network. Since most jobs require people to stay at work 37.5 hours per week, colleagues spend a lot of time together as they bond over their successes and struggles in their job. This encourages people to build connections with one another at the workplace. You must support your clients to access opportunities for participation at work. This support also includes assisting their employers in easing the client's participation and inclusion. Assisting employers to facilitate the inclusion and engagement. Your role involves assisting your clients' employers in facilitating their participation and inclusion in the workplace. Doing so will aid in identifying opportunities for the client's participation at work. Some ways for you to help employers in facilitating participation and inclusion are providing the employer with information on national and international policies regarding persons with disability, especially in connection to employment. Giving feedback on the company policies and procedures on how they check up on employee conditions. Advising the employer and management to create events that encourage socialisation with co-workers. Suggesting revising company policies as needed to accommodate the client's needs. Supporting the person with disability to access opportunities for work participation. Once participation opportunities are present in the workplace, you also have a role in assisting the person with a disability in accessing them. Assisting the employer in adjusting company policies for persons with disability is in itself already a huge part of that. However, the person with a disability may still need further assistance on the implementation of the specific activities themselves. You can support clients to access opportunities with strategies such as keeping an open communication and close contact, assisting the client in accessing their needs and resolving barriers as they are needed, applying the steps and strategies in the individualised plan. Support the use of assistive technologies of the person with a disability. Assistive technology refers to devices and equipment designed to support persons with disability. These technologies help people live their independent lives. Using assistive technology can positively impact the health and well-being of a person with disability, promote the independence of the person with disability, maintain the independence of the person with a disability, enable the person with disability to be included in various activities available for all people, allows the person with disability to participate in their community fully, ease the process for making choices and decisions for the person with disability. Scope and breadth of assistive technology. As a support worker, you must understand the scope and breadth of assistive technologies to identify what devices or equipment your clients need. Once identified, you will support them in using said technology to meet their individual needs. Scope refers to the activities where a person can use assistive technology. On the other hand, breadth refers to the range of devices and equipment used explicitly for an activity. Communication. One of the common individual needs of a person is the need to communicate and interact with others. Aside from non-verbal communication techniques, a person may use assistive devices to communicate. The following table lists the assistive technology used for communication. So hearing, such as FM systems, closed captioning software, and hearing aids. Speech, communicators, eye gazers, and text-to-speech software, and notepads. Vision, alternative print materials, pocket magnifiers, audiobooks, reading gadgets, refreshable braille displays, text-to-speech, and visual support software. Cognition and memory loss, sensory regulators, noise-cancelling headphones, memory aids, word prediction software, and autocomplete. Daily living activities are the self-care activities people do every day to keep themselves safe, healthy, and feeling good. These activities are usually done in the home of the person with disability. They're also done independently by the person with disability. Daily living activities. Assistive technology used for the kinds of activities for daily living. So for continence, bedpans are receptacles used for a patient who is bedridden in a healthcare facility. They can be used for both urinary and fecal discharge. Bedside commodes promote a safer alternative for people who are at risk of falling or slipping in the bathroom. Bed and chair pads are absorbent pads placed discreetly on top of a chair or bed. They can be either disposable or washable. Toilet seat raisers increases the height of the toilet pan, which makes it easier for a person to sit down and stand up from the toilet. Urine drainage bags collect urine by attaching the bag to a catheter tube inside a person's bladder. Self-care and hygiene. Grab bars are bars installed in a shower or next to a bathtub. This supports a person when going in and out of the shower or bathtub. Shower chair or bench provides support to people with balance issues and help prevent falling. Anti-slip mats help make wet surfaces less slippery to prevent falls. Dressing aids are low-tech devices to help a person in dressing. Examples include shoehorns, stocking aids, and button hooks. Mobility, such as walking sticks, walkers, crutches, and canes, are devices designed to support a person's balance while standing or walking. These devices take away some of the pressure of one or both legs. Wheelchairs provide wheeled movement and seating support. Prosthetic devices are devices that imitate the human body's movements depending on the device's complexity. Walking aids help the person navigate their way in the park. Reaches help the person reach items without bending or raising their arms. Transferring. Side sheets allow easy repositioning on the bed with less friction. Transfer belts are used for easy transferring and assisted walking. Transfer boards are fully body length boards used to transfer a person from one surface to another. Slings are fabric supports used to carry a person. Stretchers are rigid frames used to carry a person in a lying position. Stretchers are used to often transfer people to different locations. Hoists have three kinds: mobile, standing, and ceiling. Mobile and ceiling hoists are used to lift a person inside a sling or stretcher. Standing hoists are used to assist a person in sitting or standing. Eating and drinking. Adaptive dinnerware are plates and bowls are designed to ensure that food will not slide around and fall out. Dinnerware can also be modified to not slide around a table with grip bottoms. Assistive utensils are forks, knives, and spoons that are adapted to the needs of an individual. Utensil holders are for people who find holding utensils challenging. Utensil holders include straps, clips, and foam handles. Foam handles assist a person who can hold utensils but have a problem with their grip. Feeding devices are designed to allow a person who cannot self-feed to eat independently. There are manual and powered feeders that a person may use. Weighted utensils minimize tremors while eating. Non-skid plates prevent the plates from moving around while eating. Assistive cups and mugs, like the adaptive dinnerware, can assist a person. The most common assistive drinking utensil is drinking straws, no spill lids, and jar openers. Pressure area management. Protectors are devices that help reduce injuries caused by friction. The most common locations for protectors are the elbows and heels of a person. Cushions help lessen the risk of developing pressure ulcers for those who spend long periods in bed or sitting down. Electronic bed frames help change the pressure distribution for a person who is bedridden. Offloading footwear is a type of footwear designed to redistribute pressure. Sleep positioners are pillows, rolls, and soft rails adjusted to redistribute pressure and keep a person from falling out of bed. Carer support. Fall detectors alert a carer if the person has taken a fall. Passive infrared detectors are devices that monitor activity at the home of the person. They can tell a carer whether the person is active, where they are, and if someone has entered the home. Panic buttons are alarm buttons that are used in an event of a break-in or if someone threatening approaches the home of the person. Personal alarms are devices the person can press when they need assistance. These can contact their carer or a response centre. Smart plugs are devices used to monitor the use of household appliances and send an alert to a carer. Recreation and leisure. Adapted equipment is equipment that has been modified according to the needs of the person. These include sporting equipment, gardening tools, board games, and card holders. Magnetic board game pieces prevent the pieces from getting moved around and lost while playing. All-terrain wheelchairs provide mobility on different surfaces for recreational activities. Self-driving cars allow the person to go from one place to another with less risks associated to driving the car themselves. Switch-adapted equipment is equipment that have been modified where the original switches are rerouted to a switch that is easy to access and operate. These include toys, games, and digital cameras. Education and employment. Ergonomic furniture is designed to support both function and comfort. Pen-pencil grips are tools that help improve handwriting, give more control, and reduce hand fatigue. Audio recordings are recordings of classes, meetings, and print materials read out loud. Physical modifications to the environment are modifications that enable access to buildings, such as wider doorways. Ramps and elevators help persons who use wheelchairs to move easily through different places. Support the use of assistive technology of the person with disability. As a support worker, you must aid your clients when they are using assistive technology. In aiding your clients' use to meet their individual needs, you need to take into consideration making sure that assistive devices and equipment are available, making sure that assistive devices and equipment align with the individual needs of your client. Consider the budget of your clients. Consider your clients' environments. Determine if your clients need custom-made equipment. Ensure that your clients understand how to use assistive technology. And making sure that assistive technology devices and equipment are well maintained. Seek feedback from the person with disability and others on meeting the person's needs and preferences. With your findings, you can adjust these strategies for community participation and inclusion. One of your duties as a support worker is to ensure that support provided to clients meets their current and changing needs and preferences. Current needs and preferences refer to what has already been identified. These needs and preferences are already documented within the individualized plan. Changing needs of the person with a disability can include change in barriers, change in interest. Feedback, when appropriately provided, is a powerful tool. It offers an overview of the performance observed. This is to make sure that the client is moving towards their goals for community participation and social inclusion. If your observation shows that strategies implemented have little to no success, you must seek feedback from those involved. This is for necessary changes to happen in the plan. The role of stakeholders in supporting and facilitating community participation and social inclusion. Aside from the person with disability, those involved include the following. The family of the person with disability. It is the family that spends the most time with the person with disability. Therefore, they play the most important role in ensuring that the needs and preferences of the person with disability are always met. The social inclusion of persons with disability must begin at home, which means that the person with disability does not feel like an outcast. The person with disability is treated exactly how the other members of the family are treated. The carer of the persons with disability. The carer is one that fully supports a person with disability in their daily living. A carer can be a relative, a friend, or someone the person with a disability hired for assistance. Basically, the carer keeps the person with disability safe and cared for. The carer helps the person with disability with personal needs, such as basic hygiene, bathing and showering, oral hygiene and dressing, as well as daily living, such as cooking, grocery shopping, and budgeting for money. Others identified by the person with a disability. Stakeholders of the individualised plan of the person with disability may include the partners or significant others and close friends. Stakeholders are not limited to the family, friends, and primary caregivers of the person with disability. The group may also include staff involved in the care, schooling, and employment of the person with disability. Other carers. Aside from these stakeholders, your colleagues and supervisors can also aid in you, ensuring support continues to meet the current and changing needs and preferences of your clients. Colleagues and supervisors can give you the constant support you need in the workplace. They can also provide you with recommendations, best practices, tips, and advice that should help you out along the way. Seeking feedback from stakeholders. Listed below are some ways you can seek feedback from all stakeholders of the client's individualised plan. Meetings are a great avenue to consult with the client and other stakeholders. In meetings, you can ask for feedback from all stakeholders regarding the strategy. A good meeting should provide a promising avenue for everyone to express their ideas fully. Usually meetings are done face-to-face. However, these can also be done through video conferencing, which requires using the internet. Before the meeting, you may create a checklist of questions to ask as a guide for the discussion. These checklists could be for the client, for other stakeholders, and for your colleagues and supervisors. Emails are a great avenue to formally communicate with all stakeholders. Important files and documentation can be sent to the client and other stakeholders involved in their individualised plan. Emails are also effective in storing information that everyone can refer to at any time, such as correspondence between you and all stakeholders, meeting minutes, and updated information regarding the client's individualised plan. Cloud storage is an online-based computer model for quick storage and access to files and documents. Cloud storage allows you to store large-size files or documentation. These include files such as images, videos, and other graphics. Once you have acquired the feedback from stakeholders, you must process the feedback. Here are some ways you can process feedback effectively. Pay attention to the critique, ask questions if you need to, do not take anything personally, respond appropriately, and do a follow-through. Strategies to address negative attitudes expressed by stakeholders regarding community participation and social inclusion. Sometimes a stakeholder may express negative attitudes towards the community participation and social inclusion of persons with disability. These negative attitudes may even present themselves as barriers to the person with disability. When a stakeholder displays a negative attitude, some strategies you may use to address it are finding out the reason behind their negative attitude, focusing on the behaviour of the person with disability concerned when discussing the negative attitude. Be specific and precise. Make conversations a two-way street. Ensure strategies are regularly reviewed with the person with disability and your supervisor. As a support worker, you must regularly review the strategies for community participation and social inclusion being implemented. This is to know if it is good or not. You may think that a strategy will work great for your client. It is important to ask your client and supervisor for their opinion on the strategies being implemented. You will do all of these to facilitate positive outcomes with regard to the client's community participation and social inclusion. As such, you must regularly review strategies to ensure that they are in line with organisations' policies and procedures, meeting the interests and goals of the persons with disability, meeting the current needs and preferences of persons with disability, are updated to meet any changing needs, interests, or preferences. Some ways to regularly review strategies with your client and supervisor are through self-evaluation, observation, and client feedback. Monitor level of engagement in community and social networks of the person with disability. The level of engagement of persons with a disability refers to the extent that the person with disability can commit to the community as well as their social networks. As discussed, social networks that persons with disability can commit to include support groups, work groups, and community centres. Monitoring the level of engagement of persons with disability is important because it reflects the willingness of the person with a disability to participate in the community and social networks. It dictates the community participation's impact on the quality of life of the person with disability. The levels of engagement. The 3 levels of engagement are as follows. Minimal involvement. This means the person with disability has minimal involvement with the community and its members, including the social networks the person with disability is in. The relationship of the person with disability with the community is passive, which means it does not matter that much to the person with a disability. Engaged. At this level, the person with disability begins to actively navigate through the entirety of the community, who they are, and what they stand for. The person with disability also starts identifying with the community and slowly establishes meaningful relationships with others. Fully engaged, the person with disability forms deep connections among the members of the community, which often leads to the commitment of the person with disability. The person with disability also becomes willing to sustain that commitment. This is mainly because they have already formed meaningful relationships with others. Monitoring the level of engagement of the person with disability. As a support worker, you must monitor your client's level of engagement. To do so, use strategies such as observing the client during skill development activities, asking relevant personnel for their observations, having informal conversations with the client, and interviewing the client's family and friends. Consulting with the person with disability and supervisor. You must communicate with the client and your supervisor as you monitor their level of engagement. Doing so can confirm whether the client is fully engaging with their community and social networks. When consulting with your clients and supervisors on the level of engagement, consider the procedure of reviewing the strategies for community participation and social inclusion implemented for the client's individualised plan, asking the client and supervisor for their feedback on the strategies reviewed, asking the client about their experiences when engaging with their communities and social networks, sharing your insights on the client's level of engagement with their communities and social networks based on the experiences the client shared, confirming the accuracy of your insights with the client and the supervisor, recording what has been discussed in meeting notes. What have we learned? In this session, we have learned about implementing strategies for community participation and inclusion. In the next session, we will learn about identifying, addressing, and monitoring barriers to community participation and social inclusion. Learning reflection. The next step is for you to go to your tutor's online learning portal and complete the assessment activities. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you found the session informative.